Armstrong, your real estate agent and advocate. We are still in the Lenawee Court here in at probate court in Lenawee County. So come on in, let's go see what the court is doing. I just, I clicked one video and the next video. So let's see what's happening. It's time for court. I'm enjoying court. Hopefully you are too. Judge, we are ready for court. Let's, here we are. Let's get on it. I gotta take care of that housekeeping. So make sure you do the same. I'm going to go ahead and like the video. I've already subscribed. You do the same here. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that everyone gets to know what we're getting ready to learn out of this probate court. Just a few minutes of time. So
the
let's
record
go
should
on
reflect that we allowed some extra time this morning for Ms. Heiss to chat with our workers assigned to this case. I was also able to chat with them for a few minutes, and now we are on record.
Okay.
So let's go through and have everybody put their names on, and let's start in the courtroom.
Jamie Freeze, I'm the CPS worker from the department.
Jeanette Hennigan, DHHS.
Chris Varian, Department of Health and Human Services.
Lee Heiss, lawyer guardian ad litem.
And from Ona and Ed, if you could introduce yourselves, please.
Who is that? I don't recognize those people.
That's the great grandparents.
Oh,
Ed
okay.
and Anna Thompson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Could you tell us which of the children you have in your care and what brings you in today?
We have, well, their new names are Kingston and Cash Thompson. They're the Thompson twins. We adopted them in March.
Yes. So are you here just to observe today?
They were also
Observe
going to be witnesses.
and be willing to be there for Isaac if need be.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Milligan, if you could introduce yourself, please.
Okay. So real quick. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's just do a real quick pop quiz. This is a pop quiz moment. I'm not going to grade you. This is the honor system. I'll let you grade yourself. Okay, so when you come into the courthouse and you go into the courtroom, you'll have, let's just scenario based, we'll say when the door first opens up into the courtroom, there's usually a bailiff that opens the door up in the very beginning, when they're unlocking the courtroom. And then you'll have a bailiff that's over closer to the judge, right? To make sure that the judge is protected at all times, right? And you'll have the clerk sitting not too far off from the judge. And of course, the court reporter is on the side of the judge, okay? That's the well of the court. When you walk into the courtroom, are you allowed to just walk around? Just walk around, just keep on walking, walk up to the judge's chambers, walk up to the judge's bench, come back, walk back and forth, all around town, to the right, to the left, through the door and back. No, you are not. If you said no, you would be correct. Guess what? The first bailiff is ensuring that when you walk in through the front door, through the door, that you walk and have a seat. And after you have sat down, the only time you can go past the little swinging door to the chairs within the well of the court is when your case is called. And the second bailiff is ensure that when you walk past that door, you have a seat and you don't go past the seated area and you don't walk up to the judge's bench or go any further into the well without prior permission, right? So you are literally walking in to have a seat, getting up to go have another seat, and it's all about you respecting the court. Consequently, when you're on the phone and you're in Zoom, have a seat, okay? Stop walking around. Oh, it's driving me crazy. Oh my goodness. If this was like Judge Manning's courtroom, Judge Simpson's courtroom, oh my goodness, George Anise Bryant's courtroom, they would be losing it because this lady is like all over the place, in and out, in and out, in and out, one door to the next door. And she's freezing. Her communication is breaking up. That is driving me insane. And I'm sure, it's driving the judge insane. Bless her heart for being compassionate because she has a very compassionate nature about her. And I do appreciate the way she carries in her courtroom. She keeps order without, being extrovert. She just keeps order by simply moving on. She doesn't get drawn into the different things that the attorneys want done. We were able to see that in Dee Warner's manner. And once again, this is how we came across this judge's court, watching Dee Warner's probate. So much respect and love to her family as they go through this time dealing with the uncertainty of the case with their father, or her husband, I should say, because I don't think he was the father for all the children. But nonetheless, moving on back to where we are. Have a seat, ma'am. Have a seat, seat, seat. And then I won't be able to see all this other stuff around your house. We just sit down. It's driving me so insane.
Amy Million, grandmother and guardian of Isaac.
Thank you. Mr. Thompson, you're
Don't
next.
know where she is.
Israel Thompson, father.
Okay.
We also have Ms. Heather Barris logged in, also employed with the department, and who's coming in from the Galaxy tab S4. If you could give us your name, please. I've asked you to unmute. If you could unmute, please, and give us your name.
Okay, another pop quiz real quick. When you walk in your court, your case has been called. I'll just tell you, we don't have to make it a quiz. Your case has been called. You have a seat, but guess what? You have to say who you are. There comes a time and a point where you have to put your name and your relation to the case on the record. So if you're on the phone and you're zooming it along, pay attention. Pay attention. Just pay attention. The judge is talking to you. Judge is talking to, what's her first name? Judge Catherine. Judge Catherine is speaking to you. She wants to hear from you. And then when you're on Zoom, do me a favor, turn that camera on so we can see you. Yeah, we want to see you. Make sure you're not being coached by anyone, that you're speaking to firsthand knowledge and not anyone else's cohesion, whatever the word is at this time. I'm sorry.
Okay, I don't allow unidentified participants to remain in our meetings.
I don't either.
So,
Good
Lance
job,
James,
Judge.
Galaxy tab S4, to introduce yourself.
If you want to be here, tell us who you
All
are.
right, let's go to you, Ms. Heiss.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have visited with the child face-to-face to check on his welfare. In this case, I believe that proofs need to be presented to you, and I think that we have an October date for that. In the meantime, I would ask you to consider that the department and I have come up with a schedule that I think will give us further information and is in the child's best interest. That would be, and I'm willing to write this up and submit it to you, or I can give it to you, but basically it's the idea is that until you can hear the proofs, we would recommend that Isaac visits with his father starting September 8th at 6 p.m. on Friday. The child is to be at the Lenawee County Sheriff Department for pickup by the father. The child will then be with the father at his home with the support of Mecosta County Social Services, a parent aide, and Israel's mother, Holly, will also support the visit.
Wait, what does that mean? Support the visit? Does that mean that they have to be there too? That's a lot of people. What? How many people she wants to be? Wait a minute.
Of Mecosta County Social Services,
Let's go again.
a parent aide, and Israel's mother, Holly, will also support the visit.
Oh, his mom. Okay.
And then on Sunday at 6 p.m., the guardian is to pick Isaac up at the Mecosta Sheriff Department. Okay, and then there's some other if, ands, or buts.
So I've known there to be visitation supervised, right? And that's usually a few hours of a day. He gets them for the weekend, overnight, but she's saying the support of the department, the support of this. I don't understand what that means.
If DHS has
So if you do, put it in the chat, or make a comment. Let me know.
concerns for Isaac's safety, or if he's dysregulated to a certain extent, DHS has the authority to suspend visits. Father is not to bottle, break, or potty train. Let's just say he is to be consistent with the care, for example, but specifically not to bottle train. Don't take the bottle away. Don't take away his and don't toilet train just because of the stress of the new changes. We don't want that change in addition, unless the guardians are already doing it.
What a condition. I mean, I get her point because she's articulated it. So thankfully, we understand where she's coming from. She just doesn't want to add a new stress to the baby by giving them, because obviously this is a minor child, maybe a toddler in age, giving them an assignment of potty training, because that can be stressful depending on how it's done, and doesn't want the bottle to stop being given to the child. So maybe he feels like, maybe someone feels like the child is old enough that they don't need to be taking the bottle. I don't know. But doesn't want them to take that away from the child because there's obviously some other stressors that the child is getting used to. And with all these people involved, child may very well not be in the care of a parent at all, some or a familiar person. So maybe that's the stressor. But very interesting condition to say don't potty train him and don't break bottle feeding. The bottle feeding part, not that odd, because obviously that's how the child is used to nutrition and getting nutrition. But the not potty train them, I guess maybe, like I said, maybe it just depends on how you do it. And you can do it as a fun game, put the Cheerios in and let the child stand up and you know see how many Cheerios they can attack with their urine. Same thing, and then dad is the great person to teach the young son how to do that because they have the same body parts, right? Or at least they can demonstrate the same body parts, the same mechanism. So I don't know, but whatever. Very interesting. So.
If either party is late by more than 30 minutes, they have to communicate that they're in traffic and they need a few more minutes, or the visit is the other person doesn't have to wait. So it's 30 minutes because this is a 3-hour drive. The parties are to text only communication between the guardians and Israel, the father, so that we can all reread the dialogue.
Wow.
In an emergency, they can talk on the phone. Dad, as a tool, if he chooses, he can have the child video chat with the guardians to regulate him, but he is not required.
To regulate him?
Guardians are to send clothes with him and any personal items like bottles or blankets or specific toys. But father is to provide all diapers, food, all the needs during the weekend. I think that completes what we think should happen until the court has time to listen to the proofs in October.
I love the way she spells her name, Lee. I've done some family law, very small stint of it, about a year or two, so nothing extensive. Yeah, I think it was about 2 years. Well, not usually, because you can stipulate to whatever you want, but it's best, in my opinion, when you have adversarial sides, it's best to just have duplicated toys, duplicated bottles in both care of both parents, or both locations, so that you're not trying to travel those things back and forth. Because if you don't return a toy, or you don't return a special blanket or a special binky or that particular bottle, it becomes the contentious conversation that drives everyone insane for long periods of time. It can definitely grow into something major because the child is looking for it. The child cries and it becomes a stressor for that parent that has to deal with not having it when they need it, and they know that they gave it to you and you can't find it because the child has thrown it behind the couch and you didn't know, and right? So it becomes simpler when you have your set of items at your house and they have their set of items at their house. So the thing that's transferring back and forth is the child in the car seat, therefore, and whatever is needed in the travel, because it's a 3-hour time, so they may need snacks or whatever particular bottle, maybe a car bottle or something, to travel with. But aside from that, you can keep it at your own house. It becomes less cumbersome in the return and less contentious. And there's so many people involved and so much going on. I can only imagine what's happening in this case.
How much time do you think we'll need to set aside in October?
I would say half a day.
Wow, I have a day for evidentiary
Is
hearing.
October 2nd a day? I know you'll be working remote, Ms. Heiss. Is that? Or no,
Half
you're
a
not
day
remote.
is like
No,
3
not that day.
hours.
October 3rd.
Actually, no, October 3rd is what we talked about, but that would only be like 45 minutes. So if you need a full half day, then I can give you the morning of the 2nd, all morning from 9 to noon.
The 2nd is good for me if it works for the other parties.
I don't hear any objections. All right, deputies, would you swear in, please, Ms. Amy Millian, and then our representatives from the department who would like to confirm this agreement?
I also, Anna said she was going to be a potential witness. I would think she needs to be in the breakout room until called upon, but that's just me.
Is Amy on Zoom?
She's on Zoom, and who will be speaking for the department?
I will.
So Ms. Hennigan, do please.
Ms. Millian, can you hear me?
Oh. Who's he calling?
You'll have to unmute on your end.
What is your name?
Amy Millian, are you able to hear me?
Oh, Amy. I don't know who
There,
that is.
okay, yes, I can hear you.
Thank you. Can you raise your right hand for me, please?
His mother? Is it his mother?
Who's in?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Mom.
Thank you, Ms. All right, Ms. Amy Millian, did you hear the terms outlined by Ms. Heiss?
Yes, I did.
All right. Are you willing and able to follow the terms of those terms and conditions until we come back in October for full hearing?
I'm not real sure about how far is this place where would be picking Isaac up from?
3 hours.
If it's a 3-hour drive, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that.
Did your
This judge gives me so much life. She makes the faces, right? And a lot of times you'll hear someone say, oh, judges are so great because they don't make faces and, you know, they're able to contain their emotions and you never know what they're thinking. And she just lays it out there. I love it. I love it so much because she makes the faces. I'm thinking like, why didn't you guys have that conversation offline? Why are you bringing this to the court, asking the court where the location is, how far is it, 3 hours, da, 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 da. I can't make that drive. This is something you're supposed to do outside of the court. It's a part of getting your ducks in a row, getting things together. So when you, Miss Lee, I believe Heiss, I think it was Heiss, when you come before the court and tell the judge, this is what we are proposing, you've talked to all parties involved in that they can fulfill your request or your proposal. Otherwise, there's no need to propose it to the court if it can't be done. And I was feeling the same way. 3 hours with a baby. Oh, I hope that's not a crying baby. But guess what? The baby, if he falls asleep in the car, as soon as he gets out that car, he is fun and games, boy. It's on and popping. You better be going to the park or something to get that energy out because he's gonna have a lot of it.
Unwilling or unable?
Unable. Gonna be able.
She said unwilling or unable. Does it matter? If I'm unwilling, I guess then we'll say that you're not a fit for the process that we're doing here, the guardian litem setup here that's going on. But the unwilling or unable is funny.
Let's do that.
She answered nicely. She said, I'm unable.
Unwilling or unable?
Unable.
None of
I'm
them.
willing. I'm just,
Look at the judge's face. She's looking at, oh, you guys, I'm pointing my finger. The judge's face, she's looking at everybody in the court like, for real, you guys didn't have this conversation before you got to my courtroom to tell me what you guys are going to do. And now they're going back and forth on Zoom. And she's like, really?
there's no way. I'm unable to do that. Maybe halfway.
Who's going to drive the other half? Yeah, well,
We did discuss that.
Is this, so if I understood it correctly,
okay, so this is one of the, I don't know, GCFS workers or CPS workers. She's saying we did discuss that. So Amy is being brand new in court. Fun times, huh, Miss Amy? Come on, what is going on?
Is this, so am I, if I understood it correctly, I'm dropping him off and picking him up at this place?
No, as I understand it, and Ms. Heiss, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the pickup and drop off spot would be the sheriff's department. On Friday, Mr. Israel Thompson would come and pick up the child, make the entire drive to pick up the child. And then you would, at the end of the visit, retrieve him to come home to you, which is why that's a typical transportation arrangement for
Gotcha.
visitation. Whoever's exercising visitation does the transportation. So you'd only be responsible for retrieving the child on Sunday, but it may include that lengthy drive.
Wait. Okay, I'm working with Amy. Like, what's this math? So how does the child get there in the first place? So she has to go twice. So if the child lives with Amy, she has to go to the drop-off center, which is the sheriff's department, drop the child off for Mr. Thompson to pick him up. Mr. Thompson picks him up from the sheriff's department. And then, I mean, the other thing would be that Thompson would be coming to her house. I don't think that they want that, considering they want this this mediator, which is the sheriff's department, to be a part of, to be the drop off. So she's gonna have to go to the drop off center on Friday for Israel Thompson to pick him up. He picks him up from there, and then he comes to drop him back off on Sunday, for which she comes back on Sunday to pick him up. So it's twice a weekend.
Would you be able to accomplish that?
Yes, I'm a little concerned about the drive for Isaac with being at school the next morning at 8 o'clock, but there's a lot of changes for Isaac all of a sudden.
How old is Isaac? With a
Well,
ball
that's why
in
part of the
school?
other piece of the temporary order would be
Daycare, babysitter, yes, but school and a bottle?
that
What are we talking
typical
about?
activities of daily living for Isaac would remain the same and unchanged, such as use of diapers and bottles. And although we would ask you to provide things like his clothing or his toys or whatever he may want for the weekend, Mr. Thompson would have to pick up, and take care of things like food and disposable items that you need for that weekend. But you would need to send with Isaac anything that would help that weekend visit be successful from your
That's not what
perspective.
she's worried about.
that you
Yeah.
know
She's worried
Isaac's
about the
busy.
drive
I understand that. I'm concerned about the time.
And
If
it's
it's
late
6
at night.
o'clock, we won't be getting home till almost 10, and he
9.
has school the
Mhm.
next morning.
Well, let's do math
Um,
now. 3 hours from 6 is 9 o'clock, so not 10 o'clock. So they would be getting home around 9 o'clock.
Could we make it a little earlier in the day on
That's-
Sunday
that's
so that
reasonable.
he can
3 o'clock,
be ready
really.
for school the next morning? I
That's
mean,
much
he
better.
just turned 4.
What time would you suggest? That's
3.
Maybe pick him up around 3 or 4.
Mhm.
Being it's 3 hours, 3-hour drive.
3.
okay, Mr. Thompson. Deputy, would you swear Mr. Israel Thompson, please?
Please raise your right hand, sir.
As if this was
Do you
my
swear
case.
or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Do you have any objection to Ms. Millian picking Israel up at 3 on Sunday?
Isaac, no, I don't.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Isaac, you're right.
I want the best routine for Isaac, and I don't want him to be in the car for the 3-hour drive, but to do the visits is going to happen. So obviously I want him getting back at
That's
his
not the
bedtime
question on
or a
here.
little bit before his
Oh, okay.
bedtime so he can kind of adjust back to where he is at home
Okay.
and get ready for school, obviously. So I don't have any objections.
Ms. Heiss?
Where is this 4-year-old going to school? This is amazing. 4-year-olds in school. I would assume he's in kindergarten if he's 4. Just turning 4, though. It's probably pre-K. This is cute. I love it.
Thanks.
But he has a bottle at 4? Oh my God. Ah, poor baby. He's still on a bottle at 4 years old. My kids were off the bottle like right after 1, maybe 1.5 at the latest, because they were doing the sippy cups. So I hope they're talking about sippy cups. And the reason why I say I hope they're talking, I'm not trying to judge this. I'm just kind of sounding a little judgy, so I apologize for that up front. I really do take a concern with it, because if you think about the development of the mouth, it's recommended that they're off of the bottles at a certain age. I don't know the age, but it's a certain age that they graduate into the sippy cups. And I want to say you start doing sippy cups somewhere between 9 months or older. And they do the bottle and the sippy cup for a while, and then it just becomes just a sippy cup to a regular cup. And the gradual is developmental in a cognitive way, but mostly, well, not mostly, but in addition to that, one of the things I'm thinking of is the way that the mouth becomes in formation. Is if are you pushing the teeth forward if you're having him take the bottle for so much longer than recommended. So I don't know how much longer that is. I'm just a little taken aback that it is 4 years, according that he's just turning 4 and he's still on the bottle. That's a little different for me.
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
Ms. Evans?
Sunday at 3.
I agree. All right, well, okay, any other concerns we can work through today on a temporary basis, Ms. Millian?
Is there someone that can keep in contact with me to let me know that Isaac is doing okay? At least the first couple visits, because we've only had 3 visits with Israel. And being he hasn't seen him in 3 years, I'm nervous, very nervous about just giving him to him. I want them to form a bond, and I think that's important, but at the same time,
Is he or is he not the father? Like, this is the grandmother, so she must be the mom's mother, I guess. But if he's the father, if it's been 3 years, by all means, he needs to have relation and communication with his son. But I mean, good grief, lady, what do you? I Lord have mercy. Now I don't know what brings them to court, so I don't know what brings them. So I can't speak if there was, because there's a lot of people involved. Okay, and we're talking about having an evidentiary hearing. It's going to take half a day. So there's some evidence to be had. Okay, there's something that we just don't know. We just don't know. However, she to me, it's like coming off a little like helicoptery, because let me say something. When I am having someone's child, and my child, I didn't have this problem, obviously, but I'm just saying in general, if I'm having someone's child over my house, the last thing I want to do is be running to the phone. I don't want to split my focus concentration from making sure the child's safe. When the child's sleeping, I'm sleeping. We're watching a TV show together, we're playing together, whatever we're doing. I want to have straight focus to that, because I don't want to miss a beat, especially with a 4-year-old. They put things in their mouth. Or younger children do it more frequently, but considering he's still doing a bottle, he must, I don't know, I would assume that he has some type of oral fixation, that he likes to have things in his mouth still. Just in case that would be the case, I would want to make sure, I would want to have my eyes on him. I don't have to run around checking in with you like you're the warden at the daycare.
I'm not liking it, for it to be that
You're not liking
big of a
what?
jump so fast for that long. So
What?
Lee had mentioned, he doesn't have to call me, but is there someone that can let me know he's doing okay?
I have there's history. There's got to be history, because this is absurd to me. It's not like she's leaving the kid with me, and she never met me before, or to a person who doesn't necessarily have an interest in the welfare of that child. He's the dad. He has an interest in the welfare of the child, and this is being monitored by court and everyone else. I mean, it's it,
From Friday to Sunday, can we communicate?
no,
Israel?
say nothing. Oh my gosh, someone tell Israel, shut up. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
Absolutely.
Will you agree to that? Okay, I appreciate that very much.
If you don't mind me FaceTiming you, if Isaac's kind of getting restless or wants to communicate with you, obviously I can give you a call and let him see you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, thank you so much, Israel.
I thought he was gonna go off. Okay, good. He said something good. Okay, good.
Thank you. That makes me feel better.
Oh Lord. If they don't have a phone
Other than
call,
that, I can't think of any.
if they don't have a phone call outside of court, it's cute because we get to see it, right? But at the same time, there is something going on, and it is the welfare of this young gentleman that's being up for question. So there's a lot, behind the scenes that we don't necessarily know, but definitely have the communication that you need to have by using this wonderful device. You just plug in the number, hello. So that when you get to court, everyone's on one accord and we're not trying to figure it out as we're talking.
Anything else right in this moment?
I think that, okay, so let me say this. I've reviewed the department's investigative reports. I've had the privilege of listening to all of you today, as well as had a bit of conversation with the department and Ms. Hines before we got started for purposes of today's status conference. It does appear we will need additional time on the docket to hear the case through, but I think it's, even if I chose not to dissolve this guardianship in the future, it's important to note that under guardianship, visitation is always a piece that would be available to parents. And this plan, which represents a graduation in visitation for this parent and child, I think serves the child's interest very well. It's of course backed by the support of our guardian ad litem and our department representatives as well.
This is why I love this judge. She doesn't get into some kind of back and forth with Miss Amy Millian. She just addresses it in her order. So as Miss Millian is saying, I think it's just such a quick jump into, this graduation of, him visiting with the child for such a long period of time. It's just the weekend. I mean, I guess, overnight can be scary for some people, but, and he does, seen him for 3 years and, all this gesture. The judge, Catherine, just lets her say her piece, whatever she has to say, and then she gets it in the record that this is the appropriate graduation, that it's not some absurd leap from one thing to the next. It's an appropriate graduation for him to see his child, and she addresses it through her order. She does it a lot, and I like that. I like that she doesn't get into it with whomever is putting something a little off balance onto the floor. She just cleans it up real quick and just says what she needs to say, or she'll move on to the next thing. And I think at one time someone was trying to argue against her ruling, like they were giving their objection, and she just let them object however they wanted to, and she went right ahead and kept on with the ruling. So I appreciate when she does that.
Which is important. So I will be happy to give you all a chance to be heard at more at length in October on the 2nd, starting at 9 a.m. And then, of course, Ms. Heiss, I'll look for those specific terms and conditions so that I can incorporate those into my temporary order to adjourn us to that date.
Thank you. And Your Honor, I will be asking also that we continue the prior order of no contact between Kayla Million and the child, but I'll put that in my order unless the agency disagrees. I mean, my proposed order.
We agree. Okay. All right, very good. I'll look for that to be submitted whenever you're able to get that done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for today. We'll see you all in October. Good luck.
Oh, Madam Caitlin. Oh, baby. So that's presumably the mom. She has the last name is Madam Amy. Amy sounds as if she has custody of the minor, Isaac. And Isaac is getting into a relationship, or at least, developing his relationship with his father during a time that it sounds like he has lost a relationship with his mother. It just breaks your heart, doesn't it? It just breaks your heart. This is why I don't like family law. I mean, I like it, and I would do it. I would do it again, but it can be hard, because if you can just imagine a 4-year-old not having contact with his mom, oh my God. Oh, that just breaks my heart in so many pieces, because it's not as if the mom is deceased. I mean, the result is the same, like there's no contact, but this is an order. This is court intervention that's preventing the mother being in the child's life, and that usually results after a very extensive neglect and or abuse. It's seldom that is what the court will want to put forth with very little So maybe that's what the evidentiary hearing will be about. But that just breaks my heart. Well, that just breaks my heart right at the end. Oh gosh. So anyway, so this was different. There was nothing real estate here. Good grief. I guess the most real estate you got out of that was driving 3 hours, right? And the factor that courts will award guardianship and can do so. And then there'll be times when you'll have you'll have you'll have to have a you'll have to have a common ground, you know, and to do the exchange. And what this scenario is 3 hours away. So if you live in one of those counties that has resources that are extensively away, this could be something you contend with because if the court or the CPS is suggesting a place, they're going to suggest something such as the sheriff's location, because if there needs to be protection or intervention, or if there is an element of violence or a fear of that, there are trained individuals on site to handle it. So the sheriffs or police departments and stuff will be common areas for exchange of children. And so this one's 3 hours away from them. So that's a little unfortunate that that's not closer. So I do respect Miss Amy's concern of travel and having a minor in the car. That's a very long time. And you are doing it twice. I didn't understand the math of the only one time, because I don't understand how he gets there in the first place. Unless, I mean, because you're not going to have her drop him off at the sheriff's house and then turn around and have the dad drive him all the way back to her house at the end, because the reason why you pick the common ground is because of the need of a my dog is so loud is in need of a third location, you know, unbiased location, so you can avoid any domestic concerns, you know, if the grandparents were to get into it. I can't imagine their emotions. It sounds, I mean, it could be anything, right? I could be making a mountain out of a molehill, quite honestly, but it does sound a little heartbreaking for me. So, and I'm an outsider, have no connection to anyone. So I can only imagine how the family is processing their emotions and what emotions they have to process in the first place. So I do wish them well. We have the knowledge that certain counties have less resources, or that those resources are, you know, further away in proximity and not necessarily around the corner. So, you know, the sheriff is 3 hours away. So I hope you don't need him to come out and check on anything truly extensive. Hopefully they have a low crime rate. One would think that too, right? If we don't have a need for a sheriff's department in closer proximity, you would have, I would think, a low crime rate, because you don't need the services of the sheriff. So hopefully that's the result. And anyway, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for having me today. This was interesting. Real estate was kind of in the mix, but not really, not at all. I'm just trying to pull up straws, right? I am Lyric Armstrong, a real estate agent and advocate. Thank you all, and have a good one.